Hi everybody, my name is Ian Vargo and welcome to another episode of The Sounds of Springfield. Today I'd like to discuss how The Simpsons uses misdirection. In storytelling, misdirection is a technique in which the author leads the audience to believe that something is happening, or will happen, only to ultimately subvert their expectations. That moment when the audience realizes that they've been misdirected is called a twist. A well-known movie that uses misdirection is the M. Night Shyamalan film, The Sixth Sense. You don't think that Bruce Willis is dead for the entire movie, and then it turns out he is. You've been misdirected. This technique doesn't have to span across the entirety of an episode of television or a movie, and it can be applied to comedy too. Even a quick joke can utilize misdirection. Check out this scene from the Season 7 episode, Homer the Smithers.
Simpson, lie down! Sorry, but you need a good night's rest.
Simpson!
A more complex use of misdirection can be found in the Season 6 episode, Bart's Girlfriend. Have a look.
I'm not gonna talk to her or see her. It's over. Thanks for the advice, sis. If I can just get through this many days without seeing her, she should be completely out of my system. Okay. Day 1.
Time for church, Bart. I bet your little friend Jessica will be there.
Oh!
In filmmaking, a montage is a method of editing short shots together to compress time and story. This technique was refined and popularized by Soviet filmmaker Sergei Eisenstein, and has of course evolved over time. The type of montage you might be familiar with contains music placed alongside a rapid-fire series of images. The visual edit allows a lot of story to be told in a short period of time, and the music creates a sense of cohesion and linearity. A brilliant example of this is the montage song from the 2004 film Team America: World Police.
The hour's approaching to give it your best, and you've got to reach your prime. That's when you need to put yourself to the test and show us a passage of time. We're gonna need a montage.
This whole sequence from The Simpsons is actually an example of misdirection, because it's edited like a montage, but it isn't. We hear music that has a ticking clock quality to it, and see a series of shots of Bart crossing off dates on a calendar, so we assume months are passing by. As it turns out though, this was probably happening in real time, and Bart can't even get through that day without avoiding Jessica, as they're about to see her at church. This sets up yet another example of misdirection. Check it out.
Jessica.
Bart, be strong. You don't need that little hellcat.
Holy, she's already drawing me to her with her beautiful siren song. That's very disturbing.
We hear the somber organ music and angelic singing of what Bart assumes to be Jessica, so we assume it too, only to discover that the beautiful voice belongs to Flanders. This is perhaps also a reference to the castrato musical voice, which was achieved by, you guessed it, castrating a male singer before they reached puberty. The show uses a similar technique to the calendar scene in the Season 6 episode 2 Greyhounds.
How many more can there be?
22? 23? 24?
Misdirection gradually became one of the show's signature comedic techniques, and didn't always use sound and music in the way that those prior scenes did. Have a look at this scene from the Season 6 episode Itchy and Scratchy Land.
We better find a motel and stop for the night.
We don't need to do that much. I'm not tired. I'm not tired at all.
Whew, glad that wasn't us.
Pretty much everything about this sequence sets you up to believe that the Simpsons met their demise in that fiery wreck. In particular, the fact that the car that did crash is the exact same as the Simpson-mobile. Have a look at this scene from the episode Grampa vs. Sexual Inadequacy that uses music, inspired by the X-Files, and editing to make you believe that we're traveling down the conspiratorial rabbit hole that Bart mentions, only to pull the rug out from beneath us, revealing that we were simply tracking Lisa's purchase of Al Gore's book.
I'm getting this book on UFOs. Did you know they're real? But there's a huge government conspiracy to cover it up.
Oh, that's just a paranoid fantasy.
Mr. Vice President, someone finally bought a copy of your book, sir.
Well, this calls for a celebration. I will.
Let's have a look at one more example of misdirection from another Season 6 episode, the PTA Disbands.
This Civil War cannon has been fully restored and is in ready-to-fire condition. But it's a good thing we're not firing it, because it happens to be aimed at the main support leg of that lookout tower.
People don't realize that these cannons are very sensitive,
And the slightest jolt could set them off. Of course, for safety reasons, we don't keep the cannon loaded. It's just common sense.
As you can see, misdirection is a technique that The Simpsons used many times and in many ways, and became essential to the show's irreverent and absurd humor. If you enjoyed this episode, please click subscribe, and if you have ideas for future episodes of The Sounds of Springfield, leave them in the comments beneath.